Everybody, welcome back to Thea World, to our part 6 of the hotel app and booking engine with Angular 6, Material 2, and Firebase. So today we're going to push the changes that we made in part 5. I'm going to just change the directory here to Thea Hotel, and we're going to do git status just to see what happened. Okay, as you can see here, we got all these files here that are they've changed. I mean, yeah, these files are just the files that have changed, and let me just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. Okay, these are the files that have been added because we added the home, we added the navigation, and one image which was the sample logo. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do we can do a git git add dash dash. Well, now we'll just do a git add period. So that just basically adds all the changes we made in all the files and any additional files that we added. So we're going to do enter, and after that we're going to do a git status again. Okay, so these are all the files. So now they're added, they're all in green, they're ready for the commit. Now, since they're ready for the commit, we're going to commit now locally to our local git, right? So we're going to do git commit -m, and in here we're going to add the message, which will be added home component and added what else? Navigation components. Okay, and I'm gonna hit enter. So now this has been committed, but after doing this, you may fix. Added home component, right? Your name and email address were configured automatically based on your username and hostname. Please check that they are accurate. You can suppress this message by setting them explicitly. Run the following command: git config global -- edit. After doing this, you may fix the identity used for this commit with git amend reset author. So why is this a problem? So let's just come to here. So if we click like on any of these commits, okay. Authored and Thea was committed 11 days ago. Okay. So this looks fine. So okay. I'm not gonna worry about this now because I have other multiple projects and I have made some changes. So I'm not gonna worry about this right now because this is actually being videotaped. So I'm gonna do Git Push, and let's see. So that should push all our failed to push some refs GitHub because remote contains that you not locally. This is usually caused by another repository pushing. You may want, okay, so git pull, no. Well, actually the correct way to do is to do git pull, but anyway, nobody has forked anything here, and I don't see any sort of like pull requests. So I'm just gonna, I don't see any pull requests here or any forks. So I'm gonna push this anyway, and I think this is kind of bad practice what I'm about to do right now. But listen, because if other people are working on the repo and they're creating their own repositories, they're working on their own local repositories, and then they want to push. What happens is that's not good for the people working with you. So, but I'm gonna do it anyway because no one has done a pull request yet. So I'm gonna push all these changes that we did in part 5. Okay, so I'm gonna do I guess git push origin master. Actually, you know what? Let me just do a clear here because you guys probably won't be able to see. I'm going to do dash dash. So git push origin master dash dash force, which is bad practice. But look, no one has done a pull or any forks. So I'm going to just do that, hit enter. And that should be updated now. So let's just come back here and refresh. All right, so added home components and added navigation components. Okay, so here we are. We have added this, all these components here, the navigation components, and of course the flex layout that we added. All these changes that you see from the previous, we've added them all here. Okay, great. So again, guys, if you guys want to do a pull request, you can do what you want and then send me a pull request, and then I can merge it before I, push my work. All right. So I'm gonna come back here and go to clear, and I'm just gonna close terminal. And what I want to tell you guys right now is I want to come back over here. I want to show you guys the theming. Now the theming is not an easy thing to do. I'll tell you why. Because there's two types. There is the MDC and then there's the mat. So you guys are probably like, what's going on? What do you mean? And here's the thing. What we're gonna do right now is we are actually gonna run the server first. So let's go to change directory, Thea Hotel, okay. And let's do ng serve. And while this is loading, because it takes 30 seconds to load, we're gonna come here. I'm gonna go to material.angular.io. And in regards to theming, I'm gonna just click on guides here. And I'm gonna click on theming Angular material. All right. Now, while this has probably loaded already. Oh boy, no, not yet. Wow, Angular, it's heavy. Okay, so while that's loading, I'm gonna just scroll down to the middle of the page somewhere, and right here where it says defining a custom theme, all right, right here. So we're gonna just basically use this here in order for us to define our theme. So I guess this has still not loaded. Okay, I guess it takes 45 seconds to load. We're gonna be working on the theming and the coloring. Okay, so on the global scale, we need to do this right. Okay, so we're gonna do this step by step, and I suppose this loaded great. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to localhost 4200, and over here, as you could see, we want to make these colors the same, just like here. We want the colors to be the same, but basically we want this color here on the nav tabs, we want them to be like an off color, like a bit off, right? So it's gonna be like a darker or lighter or whatever it is. We want it to be off, because again, these designs are not ready, guys. Aaliyah is volunteering to help us, and that's what I'm saying. It's not ready. It's all being volunteer work in her end. So thank you, Aaliyah, but we need to obviously have a different color here than there, than on the top. So that said, we are gonna just make an attempt right now just to show you guys. I wanna save you guys a ton of time of Googling. So I just wanna make an attempt right now to explain to you guys what's going on here, all right? Now, in order for us to color this here, we actually have to add another container. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open Visual, let me just close this. We'll go to our Finder, grab Thea Hotel, and drop it at Visual Studio. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna open the folder. We're gonna go to Source App, and we are going to click on Navigation, and we're gonna click on the Nav Taps, because that's what we're interested in right now. We're interested in the Nav Taps. So the navtabs.html, navtabs.component.html. So this is the navigation. Of course, we have to add a division. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, enter, put a div, hit the tab key, enter, grab this, okay, let's Command X this, and tap, paste it in here, and in the division, just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna put a style. We're not gonna be doing this, but just to give you guys an idea, style, background, dash color equals to, what am I doing? The background color, red, okay? Just some inline CSS, which is bad practice. I forgot the codes here. There, which is bad practice. I'm gonna save this, and I'm just gonna come here and look what happens. There you go. There you go. So, so you're probably thinking, well, we said color equals primary here. You're thinking that, well, when we were in the header, header.html, we said color primary, right? Well, of course, because that's a material element, and the mat toolbar is a material element, and hence, I mean, it's an element, right? So it's an HTML element, and hence we can put color equals primary, because in the style CSS we're importing this indigo pink CSS, and anyway we're using primary. So what are we gonna do now? So we obviously we can't do this. So just to let you know, that's the goal. The goal is like, we need to, so right now we have to find out the color of primary and apply it, and it's just bad. It's really, really bad. So what we have to do is add a class. So normally you'd say, okay, I'll add a class, call it, I don't know, something, and then go to the styles in the nav component.css and style it. Okay, let's do that. But even then, what does that tell you? That tells you that we can't give that class, the primary class, because we are in a CSS file. So this means we have to create a SAS, a .scss file, in order for this to work. You understand? So we're working all with CSS, and we have to add the SCSS file to customize it. Why? Why am I saying this? Because I'm getting this straight from their documentation. And if you go to the documentation, over here, they're basically saying to create a .scss file. Okay, if you read this now, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab this. Okay, we're actually gonna do this. We're gonna do it step by step, guys. All right, step by step. And before I even get started here, I want you guys to know the difference between material, Angular material, like this here, and this, which is material.io. This is all MDC. So if you were to go to develop, and guys, don't skip this part, because this is really important to you. Regardless, you guys need to know this. If you click on components and click on anything, like if you were to click on dialogues, for example, and if you were to look at this, like for instance, this here, and you click on demo, and obviously you would be running npm install, right? Okay, so if you were to click demo, and I'm going to show you the demo here. So in GitHub, what's going on here? Source code. This is the demo. There you go. That's the demo. Okay, I'm going to close this. Now, on the source code, look at this. This is completely different. It's MDC. So this material design components, it's MDC. And again, MDC didn't come naturally with Angular. You actually have to, add wrappers around it and all that, because it's just not, it didn't come with Angular. It's MDC. That's why a lot of developers use Polymer, because they can use MDC with Polymer. And you can actually create a whole entire website with MDC, no problem at all. You just go to Google Code Labs, and you'll see a lot of projects there. So now, the reason why I call this project in YouTube Material 2, because literally this is like Material 2, right? Because this is 1, Material Angular, and this is 2. So now there's some confusion as which one we're going to be using all the time, with developers in general. Obviously, it's this one here. It's this one. But if we don't use that and we just follow Angular Material, this is also really great. But the problem with this is that you have to create a SAS file, and there's quite a lot of things I want to show you now. That's what we're going to get into in a minute. Now, if we were to use, let's say we started this with MDC in the beginning, which I just didn't want to do because I just didn't want to make this tutorial a lot longer. So I figured we're going to make a branch later, and the next branch we're going to create it with MDC. Okay, and it's really good for you to know the difference and to know how to work with both. This is really important. It's really important that you know how to work with both of them. So if you were to go to design, so this is what I want to tell you over here. If you go to colors, color, and you were to go to color, the color system, and you were to go to tools for picking colors. I'm going through this. You guys need to spend a lot of time here because there's a lot of things that like are links and you don't even realize it. So you have to actually spend some time. This is the color system. So when they tell you over here that you can create, you know, on the guides and the theming Angular Material, when they tell you that you can actually change your theme to, let's say, like matte indigo to like matte whatever, like they're saying that, look, you can actually come here and pick one of those, or one of those, or one of those. But what if you just want to create your own colors? So in that case, that means that you have to do a lot of work. So there's a lot of work involved, and that's why in this case, obviously, MDC is better, and it's just better in many ways. There's cons and pros in both, using both. There isn't really a wrong or right, okay? But again, over here, remember I told you there's a lot of hidden things that you don't see. So in this part here, if you click on colors and you select the view in color tool, this will open a new window. And in this new window, you can basically just click here. You can basically select whatever colors you want. Then it'll give you, like, for instance, you could select this and look how your app is going to look like for the primary, okay? Now, I'm going to come back over here and I'm just going to take a wild guess of what this is. I'm just going to go inspect. And so I don't make this video long, okay? I kind of know what this is, but I'm just going to show you how you can, look, this is not like an educational part here. I'm just doing this for myself. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this color. I'm going to come over here in the color tool, and I'm just going to, like, for the primary, this is the primary, okay? This is the primary. So for the primary, I'm going to actually, not even, I'm going to click custom. I'm going to click custom over here. And on the custom, I'm going to paste that in. And there you go. Look, that's what you get. So for the secondary, I can just, let's say I want this button here. Obviously, this design is on the works. And again, Aliyah is volunteering to do this. And we haven't completed this, so we don't really actually have everything set. But if we copy this color and we come here, in the color picker, we click on secondary, we can just paste that in here. And there you go. In the text, what's the text? Well, let me give you an idea. It's somewhere around there. That's the text color. Okay, so let's copy the text. And what? This is the text on secondary. You see? Text on S, text on secondary. So whatever text, and look, you see this here? Just remember this, all right? Now, if I click the text on secondary here, it's black. So if I paste that in here, look, the text on secondary changes, right? And if you were to go like that, you're going to notice that also the text on secondary changes. Okay, so this is a really good idea to give you an idea of what your color is going to look like. That's why I'm saying this is important. Don't get bored with this. This is really, really important because this is your foundation. And you know, how you start a project is going to give you a lot of troubles later if you have to like Google things like for CSS or SCSS and how to do this and that. So it's quite important to get this done now. So if I was to click here at text on primary and paste that in here, there you go. That's going to be the text on primary. And as you can see, this is what's happening. But obviously, this is a bad color for primary, and even the primary itself is not a good color. And this section is not going to be about designing, guys. So the design is going to be done by the designer, and later we're going to grab all the colors and change them. So what this section here is about, this part in particular, is showing you how to make a theme. And of course, we're not going to do a super customized theme as here. We're going to go to Material Palette because I'm going to leave that for later because, like I said, we're going to branch it to material components. So we're going to have also a project done with MDC instead of just the matte modules. The matte elements. All right. So we are gonna click again on the color tool. We're gonna click on material palette, and this makes our life a lot easier here because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a second when we start creating the theme. All right. So if we were to go to the green here, the teal, because our color here, or our color here, is more like a teal, right? Not green, it's a teal. So, and I was to select, let's say about this. Is it this or that? No, I'm in the text. Let me click on primary. So let's say it's that, okay, or that maybe, or that. Let's take that. Okay, let's take that. And for the text, okay, I'm just gonna select the text here, and I'm gonna grab something like put something like that for the text, okay. And for the secondary, I'm gonna select use something like an amber, and perhaps something like this. Yeah, that I think that looks right. Again, this is not a design course, so on for the text, we're in amber. Perhaps that doesn't look good at all. That or that. Okay, that looks a little better. All right, so this is just like something to work with. It doesn't look super ugly, or maybe it looks good. I don't know. So that's just something for us to work with. So now that we defined it, then you can actually have a look here in how our application is. Of course, this is Android, but whatever. It gives us a good idea. Obviously, the secondary doesn't seem very good. So let's just change the secondary. And look, there is actually amber. Let's just choose this for secondary. There we go. Right? And for the color, that looks really, really bad. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna just choose these, okay? I'm gonna choose these for now. Again, this is not for design. So, okay. So now when we click on accessibility, you'll be able to see here, this is teal, okay? This is teal, and that's the code. And we need to, you can actually export this for Android, but I don't see how you can export this now for web. But it gives us an idea. And for this primary, we are in teal, so we need to, for the primary, click on primary, you see teal, it says 200, so it's going to be teal 200. And for the secondary, we picked amber 50. All right, so great. So we have these down. So you guys understand this, right? And you will have to like Google stuff and look at things, but I'm just giving you guys what you guys need for now. So we're gonna come over here, and like I said, we added division. So we're gonna leave this alone for now. All right, let's just close navigation. Let's create inside the source file, inside this source file here, let's add an SCSS file to make our theme. Okay, so you see this styles.css. Where is the style CSS? There, the style.css. So we're gonna add another file beside this file. Okay, we're gonna right click here, new file, and we're gonna call it Thea Hotel. I'm just gonna call it Thea Hotel because that's a pretty good description. .scss. Okay, and hit enter. So now we have our SCSS file. Now in here, let's go back to material documentation. So over here, let's just copy and paste everything from here just to save time. I'm trying to make these tutorials as fast as possible, so I don't want to bore anybody. And I'm going to remove all these things for the sakes of simplicity and our sanity. I'm going to remove. You can keep them. You're more than welcome to keep them, and it's good to read them because obviously, if you read them, you're going to understand quite a lot, and you'll know what to search for. All right, so here it says, now what you see over here, the Candy app primary, this stuff here is what you want your yours to call it. So I'm just gonna call it Thea Hotel. Candy app is just an example, so I'm gonna call it Thea Hotel. Okay. Now that I have that Thea Hotel, we're gonna keep that primary there. It's a good idea to keep primary. And for accent and warrant, so just follow their way. Okay, and we're gonna paste that in here. And we're gonna paste that. Nope, this is gonna be the name of our theme. Yeah, so theme. Okay, so let's just paste that in here. Right, we're gonna have to change all of them, every single one of them. Okay, paste that in here. And paste that in here. Okay, just make sure everything's correct here. All right. So now in yeah, this is gonna be the right. I don't know why I didn't change it earlier. So we're gonna do Thea Hotel. So that's gonna be Thea Hotel. Is basically that's gonna be the name of our thing. That's why here we have to actually also include that inside our Angular Material theme. Okay, we have to include that inside our Angular Material theme. So that's how we're gonna do that. So now that we have all this, we have to change this matte indigo and the matte pink, all this with what we did earlier. You remember? It was teal. Remember earlier? So we're gonna put teal for the primary, and we're gonna put a comma, and we're gonna put 50 because it was 50. Okay, I'm just gonna come back here just in case you forgot. If you click on primary, you're gonna find teal here, and if you scroll, oh, was it 50? No, it was 200. Oh my gosh, sorry, it was 200. So 200. Now for the amber, for the matte, for the okay. So for now, let's just leave this as is, okay? Because I'm a bit confused. So like I said, I'm doing these videos on the fly. So I'm gonna leave these. No, I'm not gonna leave these like that. I'm actually gonna change this to, let's experiment and we can change it later. We're gonna put teal, and over here we're gonna put 50. No. Let's come back here to material. And that's the accessibility. Okay, that's the accent. Right. So the secondary accent 50. All right. So teal, we're going to remove all this and put 50 there. The matte red, we're going to leave it because it's the worn. So right now we're good to go, and I'm going to save this. And okay, terminal, save that. What else do we need to do? Style.css. We don't need this. So we're gonna uncomment that. We're gonna leave that here because we're still gonna use it. We don't really need to leave it there, but we're gonna use it. So command save. Come back here and look what happens. There we go. That's what happens. Well, guess what we forgot to do? We forgot to do one more thing. Hang on. We forgot to remove this Nav Taps. We forgot to save this. So if we come back here and we save it, so guess what happened now? The one thing that we forgot to do, and this is a good thing that that you guys are seeing this, watching me doing this on the fly, is that once you added this, we actually have to include it inside the Angular JSON file. Okay, so that's the next step, is the Angular.json file. In the Angular.json file, around line 23, around here, styles. Remember, there's a test one, so don't get confused and go put it in the test one and then say, oh, I put it, but it didn't work. So it's line 24, 25, around these lines. I want you to put a comma, and I want you to import source / Thea Hotel dot SCSS. Okay, that's the file we have to import, and we have to save it. And it's very important now. It's very important that you stop the server and restart the server. Okay, because we played around with the Angular JSON file. So, because if you don't do that, nothing will happen. So I'm going to go to Control C to stop the server. Control C to stop the server, and again, type in ng serve to start the server. And hopefully it's not going to take a decade, but I'm going to pause the video until this loads. Okay, so it loaded. It actually only took 45 seconds. Okay, good. So now that this loaded, again, you know what happened, right? Look, we got our theme, guys. We got our custom. This is really good stuff. So now you guys see how you can customize your theme just by following this over here. That's all we did. We just followed their steps. Of course, I skipped through a lot of stuff, and hopefully I saved you a lot of trouble and a lot of pain, you know, from going through things and Googling stuff. So now back to Visual Studio. I'm going to close angular.json because we don't need that anymore. Navtaps.html, navtaps component.html. I'm going to leave that. Style.scss. I'm going to close this. And we are going to get started now with coloring the nav tabs. Okay? So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to open Visual Studio, and we're going to add a class. Now we're going to be doing this with style, guys. Like when I say with style, it makes me feel good that we can actually do this without any problems. So we're going to add a class. I'm going to put a class, okay, equals to, I'm going to call this like nav tabs. Nav tabs dash container. Yeah, why not? That sounds pretty cool, right? I mean, container, if I learn how to spell. Nav tabs container, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to open theahotel.scss. And over here, this is going to be interesting part, so that you guys understand that when you do things on a global basis, when you change something, if you come here and change any colors in the future, everything will change. We don't have to go like, you know, running from left to right, changing this and that, copying and pasting. So here's the right way to do it. I'm going to paste it in here, and just like normally how you would style a class. So we're going to put a background color, and in there I'm going to put in the matte, the matte color. Yeah, matte color. Yeah, it's the matte color. And I'm going to pass the matte color. Our primary, just to show you, just to give you an example, our primary here, of course we're going to change it in a second, I just want to show you here, our primary, of course don't forget the semicolon, and if I save this now, right, and come back to Nav Taps, don't forget to save this too, okay, we have an error somewhere. Uh-oh, why do we have an error? That's not good. That's so bad. We have an error. Why do we have an error? Nav Taps container, that's a class. theahotel.scss. Oh, oh boy, I forgot the dollar sign. Okay, you see over here, we forgot dollar sign. Oh my goodness. Okay, save it. Now come back over here. Now look what's going to happen. The nav tabs is going to be exactly, you see how awesome this is. So if we in the future we ever change anything, and if we change these colors up here, everything that you see like below this, like all these classes that we're going to add from here on, is going to change as well. Okay, so now if we were to put like past this Thea Hotel accent, which is the matte earlier, you remember in the color picker thing with material.io. No. Yeah, okay, well, let's just look what happens now. See, that's our secondary color. That's our secondary color. And this here that you see is the text that we added on the secondary, is it? No, yeah, over here. So as you can see, guys, look, I'm trying my best to kind of do this tutorial and obviously, if I wasn't putting this live, of course I'd be Googling myself, all kinds of things. And that's why I try my best to give you guys keywords so you guys can do the Googling too on your own time. And this is a really important part here, because in this part, we learn how to do this on a global basis. And again, I'm not a fan of SaaS. I really don't. I mean, look, it's fine. SaaS is fine, but I'm not a fan of SaaS. So, and it never was. I don't know why, it just never was. So now that we did this part, I just wanted to get you guys to practice this, to go over my video again. Please, no, Thea, that's my dog, I'm sorry. Go over my video again and go over this material stuff, okay? This is so important. It's so important. Like I said, there's a lot of hidden stuff here. On the design section and the develop section, there's all kinds of hidden stuff, but please, please, please do me a favor and go over it, have a look at it and see what's happening. So now that we implemented all this, I'm gonna open, I'm gonna just stop the server, go to Control-C, and I'm gonna go to clear. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do git add space and then put the period. And I'm gonna put git commit -m, and inside I'm gonna put added customized theme. Okay, and I'm gonna hit enter, and now I'm gonna go to Git Push. Okay, so now I have basically pushed everything. So if you come back over here and we refresh this, you're gonna see that we added, added the customized theme. So again, I'm going to be working on creating a new branch to develop with Material. MDC, with Material Design from Material.io, which. And just to give you a little bit of history, like I may be wrong about this, but I still want to share this with you so that you guys can actually Google stuff. In the beginning, I remember it was always, they started with materialized CSS. So something like materializedcss.com. And there was also MDL, which is Material Design Lite. It was actually Get. I think it was Get Material Design Lite.io. And this one, Realize. It started from here, from back in the day. And then this is still an amazing CSS framework, guys. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is awesome. And these guys here, I think these guys were bought by Google, and then Google, you can go to components here, you look at the buttons, it's that's where it all started, dialogues, and then you can look at the showcasing, and look, that's all. This was built with Material in the beginning. I think it was all built with Material Lite, MDL. And do you see now how all this eventually ended up with Angular Material, and also with Material 2, which is Material.io, which this is actually built and being developed by the Google team. These guys are amazing. I'm so thankful to them for doing what they're doing. They're really helping us go to the next level, completely. And that's why I want to create a branch, and this new branch is going to be done with MDC. Okay, so you don't have to spend any time looking at this, but it's important that you look at at all this. I mean, all this was before MDC, right? So I'm just gonna close these windows. Okay, guys, see you in the next tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, please, please go over and do some homework, and just, I want you to dissect all this here. But I don't want you to confuse this with this. Of course, we make references to this, to Material Design, Material.io, make reference to it for informations like coloring and how to the margins and the paddings and the correct ways of doing things, because they redesign design itself. So so it's important to go over this. And over here, this is just a bit easier to work with. But again, I don't like SaaS, and that's why we're going to create a new branch. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on with material components with this, okay, until eventually we're gonna create a new branch. Thanks very much, guys. See you guys in the next tutorial.